Hey guys, welcome back to another What If. This is What If Deku had a Dragon Quirk Part 3. I hope you are enjoying this What If so far, because I'm enjoying making it. Anyway, we're going to jump right into the story. Deku is getting trained by All Might for the 10 months before the UA exam to get into UA. Deku is invited to the beach one day and he goes straight away. But he's never really been to this beach before because it has a bad reputation. But if All Might told him to go, he goes. So he goes there and he sees that the beach is it's a mess. It's got garbage everywhere, and Deku is he's a bit embarrassed because there's just garbage everywhere, and he's like, okay, this isn't quite a clean beach. And that's when All Might comes up in his small might form, and he's talking to Deku, and he starts off the conversation like, I used to go to this beach every day. It used to be such a lovely beach. Then, well, the currents, it caused all the garbage to go here from fly tippers um, around the around Japan, you know? It's just sad how humans have ruined society. Well, anyway, back on track. See, a key thing about being a hero is focusing on, of course, the big problems, but the big problems are just as important as the small ones. So, as your first job as my disciple is to clean this beach, and I will watch you clean this beach. Deku then asks, "Okay. I know this is all for the well-being, but is there any training involved with this?" And so All Might says, "Haha, nice to know you're dedicated to training your body up." Well, of course, there's a lot of heavy items on the beach, and this should train your body. On top of that, I'm gonna sit on top of the few heaviest items to proper get your muscles working. And then Deku goes, "Oh God, this is gonna be a difficult one." So Deku first starts off with the smaller items, like the tire. He just picks that up because of his better body and posture, because he's been working out for a lot longer of his life. He's because if you remember back from part one, I think or beginning in part two, I mentioned he's been working out a lot more because he's been confident about his quirk and he realizes he's got to work out to become a hero because that's how his quirk works. So he's been lifting around So when he lifts around these items, he's having a lot more easier time. On top of that, when he goes home, he studies. So cleaning up the beach lasts for about four-ish months because he's able to do a lot more in a lot less time. And All Might's there like, wow, you're a lot more than I expected. You did this quicker than I expected. Anyway, this is time for the fun part. So, if you remember back when you were fighting, you did a lot more damage to the slime monster than you expected. And I'm sure you know why. It's because you had lightning released from your body, but it wasn't normal lightning. It had a bluish tint to it. It was quite fascinating to watch. Anyway, I recognise that you didn't use that in the first fight because the slime monster had no marks of your quirk being used against it. So I'm assuming it was not because you were scared of using your quirk against the villain. It was mainly because you didn't know you have it. Am I correct? And that's when Deku goes, you know, All Might's smarter than I expected. To put all this together from the little evidence is pretty smart. And that's when Deku nods yes to everything All Might has said, and All Might says, so basically, what we're working on now is for you to be able to release this lightning without, having to rely on circumstances. And then once you've learnt to release the lightning, of course, you need to control it so you don't kill everybody you hit, or so that you can maybe ump up its power if there's ever anybody that needs more energy to take care of. Anyway, Deku, the next 5 months are going to be very difficult, and it's going to include a lot of training methods to do with electricity and conductivity. Are you ready? Deku then nods yes. 5 months pass as they try a bunch of different training techniques. Deku has learnt to release his lightning and he can control it, but he cannot control his power output fully to the point where he can boost his power output. He can only control the lightning itself, so he can shoot out the lightning and control the lightning. This is a lot different to Denki. Sorry if I pronounced his name wrong. I completely forgot the pronunciation. This is a lot different to him because he cannot control electricity. Um, but Deku can, and on top of that, Deku has the other boost to his quirk. And Deku has learned three major moves. The number one is lightning, which is pretty basic, and it's where a lightning bolt. This is a ranged move, but does not do that much damage. Only potential. Well, it has a lot of potential, but due to Deku's low output at the minute, when it comes to ranged moves, it's pretty weak. But it could probably take care of a normal human being if there was in a fight. He could use lightning bolt. I'm gonna call it lightning bolt, and that would be able to it would like damage them, but it wouldn't knock them out or anything. So it'd still have to get in there and punch them or shoot a couple of lightning bolts at them. His next one is Thunder Fist. This is where uh, he surrounds his hand in lightning and he punches them. This one does a lot more damage because, of course, he's punching them, and the lightning stays with them for a bit, which causes them to be electrocuted at a high rate because he's making contact with them. And for the longer time he makes contact, the more damage he does, and this damage it keeps on increasing the longer he makes contact. I've just repeated myself. And then the final move is a unique move, and it's called Body Amplification. And what he does, he recirculates the energy within his body, and this gives him the ability to do spurts of energy. Like, so basically, it's similar to Kaioken in a sense, because he can like double his power for a limited amount of time. But the drawback is this: it doesn't heat up his skin because it's scaly, but his internal organs and stuff get pushed to the limit, which causes him to basically have a time limit of, right now currently it's a minute at 10 times his normal strength, and it's about 5 minutes at 2 times his normal strength. No, sorry, we'll go 30 seconds at 10 times his strength, and 5 minutes for 2 times his strength. Yeah, that's solid time. Um, so it's safe to say that Deku is ready for the hero examination, which will be covered in this episode. So I might go a little over the 15-minute time limit I set myself, but you know what? We'll go with it. So Deku, he's walking into UA. He's a lot more confident than he is before, but he is still worried like every other student is there. Whether they like to admit it or not, back a go. Everyone is frightened because this is their future on the line. That's when he trips up on his own feet, but then he gets saved by a mysterious girl that seems to have a floating quirk. She says, "Oh, hey, are you okay? I'm presuming you're going to UA too, right? You ready for the exam?" And Deku just stumbles as she says, "Well, hope to see you in there." Deku's then like, whoa, what just happened? It all happened so quick. Wait, was that the first time I talked to a girl? This time he's not so freaky outy about this because he was cool in his last school, but he still didn't really talk to girls that much. So he's a little freaky outy, but he's more shocked about the fact he was that distracted to fall over, and he's kind of like screwing his head back on his shoulders and being like, okay, I gotta be a little bit more serious and a little bit more on my feet now because I don't want to make a silly mistake like that in the exam. So anyway, he continues walking into UA, and that's when he gets into the hall, and he's just studying his notes about his own techniques and how he can maybe pinpoint the techniques for the exam. Uh, so anyway, what Deku um, does next is he's mumbling this entire time, and that's when Ida tells him basically to shut up in front of the whole of the UA, and Deku's all embarrassed, and he puts his books about notes away and starts to take in the robots and everything, and then he takes in the 0 pointer and realizes he can get 0 points for it, so he's got to avoid it at all costs. Anyway, they start heading into the UA examination hall, and he realizes he's not put with Bakugo, and he realizes that he's never going to be put with anybody he knows, and he's put with a bunch of random people, but he does recognize the girl who saved him earlier and the boy that told him off. He goes to thank the girl that saved him earlier, and that's when Ida pulls him aside and says, "Don't do that. Don't distract her. You may not be taking it seriously, but she very seriously is. So don't distract her." That is when President Mike comes in, and he's like, "Hello, everybody. Are you ready for the exam? 3, 2, 1, go!" Everyone goes as Deku um, is still not over the speed of President Mike telling everybody to go. He's a bit mesmerized, and he doesn't quite clock onto the situation until he realized everybody else has left. That's when he's like, "Oh god, I gotta get going." So what he does immediately is activate 2 times body body amplification. There we go. He does this so he can get ahead of the pack, and he realizes that the test is only around 5 minutes long. So he comes up to his first 1 pointer, and he uses a Thunderbolt straight away to see whether he can shock the systems of the robots. Luckily, this does work due to Deku's power being lightning based, so the electricity within the robots are completely short circuited. Deku's really lucky here because if the robots were made out of some sort of material that didn't conduct electricity, he would be a bit screwed here due to his power output not being too high, or anyway, he's not high enough to take care of a robot if he didn't have the advantage, or if he was put against other students that were more powerful than him, he would be screwed. But in this case, he doesn't really have to hold back against the robots, and in summary, is the advantage against them. So he takes out a few of the 1 pointers using lightnings at ranges. Some of them take more lightning bolts than others. And that's when Deku's getting worn out. So he turns off 2 times amplification for a bit, so he can let his body rest as he starts running around, thunder punching them. I'm changing it to thunder punching or thunder fisting, whatever I want. They mean the same thing. So he goes around thunder punching them just to take them out. It takes about 3 seconds of contact for him to take out a 2-pointer robot, and about 1 second of contact to take out a 1-pointer robot, because the circuits in the 2-pointer have a lot more higher voltage fuses, so it takes him longer to short circuit them. That is when the test is coming to the end. There's about 30 seconds left of the test, and Deku realizes that a huge robot has been released. He realizes that this is the 0-pointer robot. This 0-pointer robot is way out of Deku's league. Even though he has the technical type advantage against it, it's still out of his league. So Deku decides that it might be best to just run away. That is when he realizes that there's a girl stuck under the rubble, so he runs in and he immediately activates 10 times body amplification. This isn't 10 times his strength, it's just called 10 times body amplification because it does um, 5 times what the 2 times body amplification does. And basically, what I'm trying to say, it's not 10 times his body, 10 times his normal strength. It's just a body amplification on a higher level. He called it 10 times because he thought, oh, that's a nice number, and it doesn't actually equate that, so he's not that powerful. But anyway, he runs in and he realizes that he has no chance against the 0 pointer, so he'll be better off just to lift the girl up from the rubble, pick her up, and run away. He sees this as a kind of cowardly move, but he remembers a lesson that All Might taught him. To be a hero doesn't always mean to win. To be a hero means to save everybody there. Sometimes you might have to run away and let somebody else stronger save them. But what I'm planning to do is to make you the person that's strong enough to deal with every situation, though you're still training. So, if you ever get into trouble, save everybody in the area and run away yourself. Sometimes it's better to let heroes stronger than you at the moment help you out. Remember that, Deku. And that's when Deku runs away, and the 30 seconds hits time. And due to Deku overusing his quirk, he's really out of breath, and his body was pushed to the limit because he did use 2 times body amplification earlier, which yet again, bit of a confusing name there, but it is 2 times his body. It's not directly 2 times his body strength and all that, but I just want to clear that up. Anyway, so he finishes the UA exam and he's pretty confident about his theory test, a little less confident about his physical test, but he did take out a lot of 2 pointers and 1 pointers due to having the type advantage. This is where I will leave this episode because yet again I said I will keep the episode shorter but try and release more episodes. So if you enjoyed, I would like you to like and subscribe, share it with your friends, just get this video out there. Tell me whether you want a part 4. I probably will make a part 4 anyway, but still tell me in the comments. Anyway, just to say goodbye and thanks for watching. Have a nice day.